Hey guys, this is Donald Pie for Life Games. I'm here with Al, who got top 16 at the Comic Con Yu-Gi-Oh tournament that happened yesterday. So, how did you enjoy your tournament experience?
I think the tournament was ran poorly. I would never go again. I went X1 after Swiss and then lost the top 16 to an X3 player. But, good time.
And what deck did you play?
K9.
All right, let's get into it.
All right, so starting off, the best card in the game, 3 Jokel, 3 Azuna, then the 1-ofs, 1 Naroi, 1 Lupus, and 1 Lantern. In my build, I'm not playing pure K9. I'm going to show you the spice real quick. Solfachord. But you don't need any more of these. Some people play 2, but there's a lot of normal summons in the deck. But I'm not really the biggest fan of this card. This card's crazy, but I'm not the biggest fan. Lantern's crazy. Jokel's my favorite card in the game right now. 2 case, 1 force release, and 1 chaotic elements. The elements should probably just be the 3rd case. I just wanted this just in case, have the flexibility of having a different card just in case this gets ashed and then I have this, or vice versa. This being able to add Lantern and Jokel from Grave as well is kind of crazy. It came up a couple times yesterday, so this me playing this in Crystron was this was the reason to play Crystron was this card's crazy. So I'd probably keep it in, but I don't know about that. And then to the cool cards. 3 Gracia, 3 Primoria, 2 Cutea, 2 Solfachord, 1 Coolia for the monsters. So if nobody knows what these cards do, these cards work to the K9s because Gracia is a level 5. It adds a spell or trap on summon. They got a new spell in the set that I'll explain here soon. Primoria is a new card. It adds any Solfachord card. And then it also, when you summon a Solfachord monster from the extra deck, you could add a Solfachord card from extra deck or grave back to your hand, which comes up a lot because a lot of their spells aren't once per turn, and they have multiple effects. This one in scale is kind of like Rizal Cross, but it only does it to monsters on field and then it will destroy itself. And then this on field is kind of like a pseudo Lone Fire Blossom kind of thing. It doesn't summon from deck, but you could summon a card from hand, or you could tribute it to summon it from extra deck or grave, which comes up a lot. I kind of want to play more of this because it's just it's the best odd scale, but I don't know yet. Cutea is an older one. It adds a monster on summon, and then it makes it to where your guys, if you have an even in the scale, your guys gain 100 times their pendulum scales. And then Coolia is a pseudo detonator-esque type thing. You could special summon this from your hand by tributing any 2 pendulum monsters, and then on the field it has 2 effects to where you could target a card in the field, negate its effects till the end of the opponent's turn, or you could do 2 if you have an odd pendulum scale. So being able to negate 2 cards till the end of your opponent's turn is kind of crazy. And then when your opponent is to activate a monster effect, you could quick effect pop, depending on whatever your highest scale in your pendulum scale is, times 300. So if you have the scale 9, you could pop any monster that's 2700 or less. So that kind of comes up, and I do this in a combo. I try to set this up, but a lot of people don't play this. But I kind of like it just to be able to have the extra name as well. And then for the spells, 3 Happiness, 1 Elegance. This card is probably the best card ever printed in Yu-Gi-Oh! It has 3 effects. Its first effect is you could discard a card, not for cost, to add 2 Solfachord monsters from your deck. And then on resolution, you could special summon a Solfachord from your hand up to the number of monsters your opponent controls plus 1. So if they have 1, they have 0, you could special 1. If they have 1, you could special 2, vice versa, and on top of that. Its second effect is you could pendulum summon Solfachords again, basically giving you a second pendulum summon. And then a third effect makes it to where you can special 2 Solfachords from your scales into your field, which only came up once. Like, that's the effect that you rarely ever use, but it being on the card is crazy, and being able to do all 3 is cool. Elegance is a crazy card to where it has 3 different effects too. You could either place a card in scale, or you could do its primary effect is where you add a Solfachord to the pendulum scale, to the extra deck, to put an even and odd Solfachord pendulum scale from the deck to the field, or you could send the 2 scales you have to draw 2. The second effect comes up the most, but like it having 3 different effects, just having utility is crazy. You only need one of it. Some people don't play it, but I think this is like in the combo. This is like the most effective way to set up pendulum scales. So I definitely think you need it. And then for the hand traps, being able to play like a pendulum deck with hand traps is crazy. So I got 3 Ash, 3 Fua, 3 Orange Light because all the Solfachords are fairy, and then 2 Bell and 2 Nib. Orange Light is either really good or really bad. I was playing, I believe, 14 fairies in my deck, including Orange Light, which mathematically would make it to where like you should hypothetically be able to like consistently see like Orange Light and a fairy to be able to combo. But like there's been times where it's just like been there and I'm just like K9 comboing with a random Orange Light in hand. So that kind of this might come out for like just like a Imperm or Veiler or something. But my non-engine, like I couldn't complain about. Like Bell's crazy in the Yummy. Like I belled Blue Eyes, Mitsu cards, Ash and Flu are crazy. So I can't complain about that. Plus, like having 3 Azuna in the deck too, just like being non-engine and engine is really good. So that's the main deck. That's 41. And then to the extra deck, we will go K9 stuff first. 1 Ripper, 1 Jax, 1 Werewolf. I play the 3 because like I think this is like somewhat better than Hound. Being able to pop like twice is cool. Ripper's crazy. Werewolf to summon off quick play spell came up a bunch. I might fit Hound just to play around like Yummy, or just for it to just have another K9 name, but I don't know yet. I'm playing the Nash Knight package, just the 2, just to be able to have a quick effect steal. It came up to where like I made Zeus and like stole a bunch of stuff. Like this came up, like you could argue like you could cut this stuff and just like play something else, but it came up a lot. 1 Valon, 1 Zeus, 1 Typhon. I would never not play like a K9 deck without Typhon, because being able to summon it on your opponent's turn with the Lupus is crazy. Zeus is crazy. And then Valon, of course, is like one of the better XYZs right now. And then for the links, you got the Solfachord links, which are Musica and Coolia. Musica has 2 different effects, to where you could either put its first effect is you could put an odd scale in your extra deck to add an even scale from your extra deck, or you could do an even from your hand into the extra deck to add an odd scale. And then the second effect is when you pendulum summon to zones it points to, you could target Solfachord you pendulum summon, add a card, Solfachord monster from your deck to your hand with the same level as the scale that you targeted. So that's how you get to the Coolia play. And then Big Coolia is basically an Omni Negate. It gains 100 attack for each pendulum monster in the scale, or not in the scale, in the extra deck. And then in the your pendulum monsters that this points to cannot be negated. And then when your opponent activates a card or effect, you could negate the activation by summoning an odd scale from your pendulum scale to the zone it points to. And then you could add an even scale into the extra deck, which is optional, but like being able to like put a body in the scale in the extra deck and like having a negate on top of like having the Solfachord and the Coolia, because this is what summons the Coolia from the scale. And yeah, another thing I didn't explain with the new Promora card, its scale effect is like you could target a pendulum monster in your scale, bounce it. It's not once per turn, so every time you pendulum summon, you could bounce this. So like being able to like clear your scale to put the big guy in the scale to summon to have another interruption is crazy. And then 1 Beyond, because like, you know, we don't have Electromite, so like Diet Electromite's cool. Plus like, you know, being able like I used its board breaking effect where like you summon 2 monsters to zones of points to with different levels to like pop. That came up a lot. 1 Exceed. This card's crazy just for recursion. Like I summoned it a couple times today and yesterday too. I went undefeated at locals today too, but like just having this as like an option is crazy. Then 1 IP, 1 SP. You end on this in the combo to just like be able to, you know, have another interruption. And then like this is the like probably the only flex spot. Like some is the Mirage Lights. Like in the combo, like you're able to pendulum summon twice, make a bunch of stuff, and like then you like get left with like these 2. So like with these 2, hypothetically you could like if you didn't like make this like during your combo, you could just like make this, or you could make the Lyraless XYZ that bounces, the Ensemble some people play. But I thought, you know, like in the combo, like you always have like these 2 who are like the same attribute, the same type, and like you always have a fairy in hand at the end of it because like you could bounce back your scale back to your hand always. So like having this as on top of for like Mitsu or like Yami to like be able to negate a spell on top of like all your K9 stuff, I think it's like very cool. A lot of people like there's this deck going like this deck's going around online, and like someone played this at the YCS Europe. It had a feature match. They were playing the artifact stuff. I don't have it. I think like if I did have it, I'd definitely try it because like being able to like have it being a level 5 and a fairy also for like orange light and like just to like do that is worth playing. But you know, Dice Smasher, you know, why go Dice Smasher somebody after they ban it? Like you just set up interruptions and
exactly
and just win a fair man's game.
Exactly.
But like I said, I don't know. I might try the Ensemble instead of this for the next locals I play, but this card was very good. Side deck is 1 Call By, 2 Thrust, Talents, and a D Barrier. Like Talents or Thrust, being able to like Thrust going second and like getting your Solfachord stuff on top of like, you know, Eyesight and Talents going first and second. Being able to get this to like clear boards into Yami and stuff is like very good. And like D Barrier being like the best trap to set off a Thrust is crazy. And then of course Call By, you just to play around like Troll, Molcharmy, and all the other, you know, hand traps is like mandatory to have somewhere in your deck. And then for like the rest of the side deck, I just have like generic hand traps that like come up in the format. So like I didn't fit Imperm in my main deck, so I had it in my side. And then of course 3 Droll for Mitsu and like 2 Veiler, and then like somewhat not like generic is like Phantasme, but like being able to Phantasme into like Yami or like random, like I played Blue Eyes, I played like a weird like Yami build with like she made like a gravity controller on me. Like it was like this comes up a lot. So if you play like someone who's coping and still playing Malice, like you could just like, you know, drop a Phantasme on him, have a big body, and so I kind of liked it. That's about it.
Any shout outs you want to give?
Shout out Play for Life Games. Shout out Kyle for winning. Shout out Chase for beating me in top 16 after I beat him in Swiss. Shout out to Walmart for letting me buy Solfachord cards, apparently. Shout out to Mike Romeo for being the big doofy.
All right.
One more shout out, of course. Shout out to Sammy the dog. I love Sammy the dog.
Shout out to Sammy. All right, if you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video.